Detroit in the house. Hey, good morning, Misfits. My name is Sean Murphy. I'm the founder of the Misfit Call, the Daily Awakening Call. I've been doing this since December 18th, 2018. Today's episode is 432nd episode here, April 27th, 2020. Great to have everybody here from around the globe. Appreciate everybody being here. Let me just check in the chat, look at some stuff. Whitefish, Montana. That's got to be Dana Scranton. Yep, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Portland, Oregon. I can't even say it. California, Maryland, Miami. East Texas. I know who that is. Africa. Joyce, absolutely. I love Joyce's team. They were on yesterday. From Germany, we got Atlanta. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. So go ahead and send out your three messages. Your three messages of joy, of gratitude, of peace. That would be cool. I see some D's being dropped. That means you're done. If you're new to the call, if you're new, this is your first time on, or maybe your second time on, we didn't get to drop some love to you yesterday or previously. Drop an N in the chat, and we'll throw some hearts up for you. We appreciate all the new folks, because the only way you find this is somebody referred you to the conversation. There's very few posts that I put out on social media about this, because it's got to be the like mind, right? And so friends have friends who are birds of a feather who flock together. So let me share with you some conversations here today. Let me share a little bit of a screen. We'll have a little bit of a discussion, a little bit of a training, and we'll go from there. So hopefully you can see that. If somebody could just give me a verbal that you could see that, that'd be great. Okay, thanks, Joan. Appreciate it. So breaking addiction to approval. This is a conversation that I've been studying this for a long time. Let's just put it that way. And why our old story keeps us stuck. If you're somebody that feels, maybe you feel a little bit of your old story keeps you stuck, drop an S in the chat if you think your old story keeps you stuck. The story you tell yourself, the stories that other folks tell you. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to kind of cover two parts. It's a very short training, but I'll end it with the four most important questions you could ever ask a prospect. And so you may want to hang out till then. Oh, and there's nothing to buy. Let me just let you in on that little secret. So let me walk you through this process. Where did your story start? How did you learn who you are? Who told you how to think? Who told you what to think? Now, if some of you jumped to the conclusion that I'm in charge of my story, I get that, but that's not my question. My question is who told you who you are? How did you learn to speak your native language? Were you dropped off and raised by wolves? Now, I know some of us may have friends that we think they were dropped off and raised by wolves. Here's the reality of the question. We were taught by our parents. We were taught by somebody who influenced us. Could they teach us could they prepare us for what we were about to experience, or could they only prepare us for what they experienced? Follow me on this. So you're going through this training right now. You're going through this experience right now. You're going to have a new awareness that your prospects won't have. So it's going to be important, it's going to be critical that as you start to learn this content and this information, that you understand the next time you sit down across from a prospect, you'll have an insight into them that maybe they didn't have before, that maybe you didn't have before. So how did you learn who you are? You learned by your environment. When Joyce was talking yesterday, she said, nothing makes me happier than to see when people have homes of grass and mats on the floor and dirt floors, that all of a sudden they're able to buy not only themselves a house, but their parents a house. Who told you how to think? Where did your prejudices come from? Where did your beliefs come from? Where do the things that are true come from? Good morning from England in the Bahamas. Where did the untruths? How many of you have ever had to drop a truth, meaning that something you believed 100% as a truth through either time, experience, and knowledge, that truth no longer served you and you had to change it? Many of us, if you're like me, it was a truth about network marketing. I used to think this was an arm's reach away from purse snatching. I couldn't believe anybody who had any capacity, anybody who had any skill would ever do this business. You know why I used to tell myself that? Addiction to approval. I'll tell you about that in just a second. Do you think different than your peers? Do people think you do things a little bit different? Has anybody ever tried to put you down? Has anybody ever tried to lift you up to some new thinking or put you down from your current thinking? Now, some of you may get around your friends and you want to fit in. Do you find the same things a problem? Do you complain about the same things? Do you complain that, I don't know why people don't get this? People are crazy. People in general are crazy. That community over there doesn't like us. They're stupid. They over here, they're poor. Do you think different than your peers? And if you think different than your peers, that people are around are all good, people that come into contact with us are just good souls, then the question is that, are you okay with thinking different? Because here's the reality. Listen carefully. Nobody wants my product. Nobody wants my product. I'm going to stretch a little bit and say probably nobody wants your product, because if they wanted your product, they wouldn't need us to tell them a story. So whenever you are going to present your product, your information, your company, your services, your talents, your skills, your whatever it is that you're about to sell, you're going to engage people to think different. And what happens when people think different? Do they become just so totally calm, or do they become nervous? And we know what a scared mind does. It says stop. It looks for a reason. It looks for an excuse to not move forward. So when you're told in your business, talk to people, how many of us have ever been nervous about talking to people? How many of us have ever said, ugh, give me a script? That's addiction to approval. When you're looking for a script, you're looking to follow somebody else's path. You're thinking maybe, quite possibly, I do not know how to take care of myself. Somebody else tell me. Because really, when it gets down to it, when it gets down to the very end of this, the only script that you need, listen carefully, is the one in their head that will get them to say yes, because your script won't do it. The only script that will get them to say yes is already inside of them. Your responsibility is to see how you can ask it the right questions to get them to play that script. I'm going to help you do that. Would that be okay if I helped you do that? If that would be okay, if I could help you find the script in their head to get them to say yes, type an okay in the chat if you'd like me to teach you that. All right, awesome. Here we go. A little bit more about us. A little bit. There's a bunch of slides in here to set the stage for this. What happens when we think different from our friends? When we start to tell people we're in business to take care of people, we're in business to present a nutritional, to prevent people getting sick, a variety of things. The question then becomes, you're thinking different than your friends. You're thinking different than your peers. Do their comments about your business affect you? Oh, you're in one of those things? I thought you were smarter than that. Why are you doing one of those things? Do you fear rejection from someone who you admire? Listen, it's been 22 years I'm in this profession. There's still some people I won't talk to about my business who are my friends. I'm 22 years doing this. And they know what I do. I just won't ask them because I don't want to hear the no. So you're not unique if you feel that way. Because I don't know, I just don't want to have to deal with the conversation. But there's ways around that. There's ways around that. There's ways to make it easier. Do you need the support of your group to keep you going? Listen carefully. Answer this one. Answer this truthfully. So we have our family of network. We have our friends of network. We have our network marketing family. Maybe, quite possibly, they're all the same. If you're lucky, it's all the same. For me, it's all the same. But here's my question to you. Type a yes or a no in the chat. Do you need a support group to keep you going? Because if you need a support group, guess what? So if you're saying no, you don't need a support group, is that what you're saying? You don't need a support group? Then you're going to have a hard time doing this business because the support group you have is going to fail you. And that's your old story. Listen carefully. The story you have that drives you, that keeps you from reaching your goals is an old story wired into you. It would serve you to have a group of individuals, a group of mentors, a group of teachers, a group of trainers who you get motivation from. If you get motivation off of a YouTube video, that's your group. If you journal, that's your group. So I would encourage you. Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad. That's why I wanted to explain it, because I know I've got leaders on this call and I'm watching the answers and I go, well, I didn't ask the question good. I didn't ask a good question. So my apologies. I'm glad I got it cleared up for you. The challenge is, listen carefully. If we need our support group, follow me on this. This one might be a game changer for you. Is it possible that the prospect needs their support group? And if the prospect needs their support group, then what happens when we try to pull them into ours? If anybody leaves a group of people, what's the biggest fear when you leave a group of people? How many of you have stayed at a party longer than you wanted to because you didn't want to make anybody feel bad you had to leave? You follow me? How many of you stayed at a party or stayed in a location or stayed someplace because it's like, ugh, I don't want to be the first one to leave. I don't want to be this. Imagine having your conversation with your prospect. Now, this is you and him, you and her, one-on-one. And you're sitting there and you're telling them, you're having a conversation, and they're excited about what you have to offer. And then you say, come join me in my business. Do you know what it means when somebody comes and joins you in their business? Do you know what it means at a psychological level? They have to leave their old story. They've got to leave behind that they're going to be broke. They got to leave behind that they're going to be overweight. They got to leave behind that they're not going to have energy. They got to leave behind that they're going to not have income. Have you ever thought of this that way? Have you ever thought about how wonderful it is in your mind when they join you, what you could do for them, what you could give to them, how you can support them? But have you ever thought on their side how much of a story they're going to have to tell when they tell somebody, I've joined I've joined David in my business. I've joined David. He's down in Nigeria. Not Davis. I don't know where you're at, but he's in Nigeria. I joined him and you're in Ghana. What the heck are you doing? The people in Nigeria are crazy. Why would you join them? They're lunatics, right? That might be said. I know in Texas, if somebody from Tennessee joins somebody in Texas, they're like, well, Texas thinks they're just their own country. Well, we are, but that's a whole nother story. Everybody has a story they're holding on to. Everybody needs their support group. So I would encourage you, as you start to think about your presentation, as you start to have a conversation, I would encourage you to start to think of it this way: not and or, and. You can be in your old story and be here. We'll slowly work you through the process of leaving as much of your old story behind as you want to. You don't have to just cut it off. But too many times, we tell people, you should be doing this. Oh my God, you need to do this now. You need to make money now. Right now, you need to make money. You need to join me. And people join you because they're good followers. But they're not good talkers. And when they get put back into their old community, their old story, their old vision, they don't know how to tell the new story. Do you find conversations like this? Do you ever say things like this about the prospects? They just don't understand. They're stupid for not doing this with us. Have you ever said that in your little community called network marketing, your own little business? That's okay. There's millions of others out there. I know we've all said it. I've said it. I just know it didn't serve me well. So let me ask you this. You may know your comp plan. You may know your business model. You may know all of your ingredients. How much training have you had in human behavior? Now, we're going to get to ask some questions here in a little bit. But if you want to watch the replay of this, it'll be up on YouTube probably later on today. You can go to youtube.com/mentor to mentor, and this video will be up there. Yep, it'll be up there for replay. So you can go watch it, take notes, replay, do whatever you want. Okay, so if you have no training in human behavior other than you grew up and you were told, open a door for women, you were told, be polite to your parents, and what else do you know about human behavior? Guys like girls, maybe girls like girls, and guys like guys. Okay, so that's all human behavior. If they got it, I want it, and I got to get good to be able to get it from them. If that's your idea of deep human behavior and human understanding, it might be a reason why network marketing is a challenge for you, because network marketing is not a comp plan. That's a business model. Network marketing, MLM, multi-level, is a compensation plan. It's not a business. We're in the business of building people. We're in the business of building people, not business. When you build people in this business model, you will generate significant income. If you're teaching them how to use your products, how to buy your products, your retention rate's probably not so hot. So how do you increase your retention rate? How do you increase your check? Learn how to build people. Recognition is one thing. Keeping people focused on their goals, not yours, is another thing. Are you taught the most amazing secret of sales? Listen, here's the most amazing secret of sales everybody gets taught. You ready? This one might blow your mind. Some of you, I think, have maybe already heard it. Go for no. That's the greatest sales training that most anybody can give you. Go for no. Oh my gosh. And we get excited to go for failure. We get excited to see that tongue stuck out at us when people go, no, I don't want to do what you do. Yes, I got a no. Does anybody really feel good when they get a no? Their first no, their second no, their third no? You know why we feel good? Is after we've gotten 40 no's, 50 no's, it finally starts to not affect us. But you know what happens to 90% of the people who come into join you in your business? They can't handle the third no, because maybe, quite possibly, let me see here. Mute. Mute all. There we go. So the question then becomes, why would you ever go for no? Is there a way to change that? Is there a better way to have a conversation with a prospect? We're told you have to go for no. You'll have to face no's in your business. Don't be afraid of no. Well, I don't know anybody I could tell don't be afraid of no when they're getting started. What if quite possibly, what if there was a reason? Maybe there's a reason why we do things like our parents. Maybe it's a reason we do things like our sponsors. Because it's the only thing they know how to teach. There's a very simple process that maybe, quite possibly, because it seems so simple, people don't want to talk about it. I don't know. Have you heard of stories of struggle from those that have gone before you? Have you heard of the stories of struggle from the people who've gone before you in this profession or in your life? Your parents talked about them growing up as childs, their parents growing up, your grandparents growing up as children. Did anybody say, oh my God, it was like a cakewalk the entire time? Everybody talks about struggles in their life. So it's not uncommon for us to talk about struggles in our life. It's not uncommon for us to teach through struggles. Everybody talks about the problems beforehand. And you know what? They get excited about the handful of times that things just went perfectly well. Well, here's the reality. When do we hear about stories of freedom? Only after the struggle. Listen, it's not at the top of the mountain when things get easier. Follow me on this. Follow me on this. How many of us, some of you have heard this before. Some of you have heard this before. How many of us, when we were 3, 4, 5 years old, how many of us, when we were 3, 4, 5 years old, we used to laugh all the time. We had joy. We could have fun playing with sticks and stones and rocks and mud. I grew up on a farm. Used to play in the mud. That was fun. And so if we were joyful when we were 3, 4, 5 years old, would you say you're more joyful now or you're more joyful then? A lot of us would say we used to laugh more then. You realize you were pretty much a prisoner when you were 3, 4, and 5 years old. You were told what to do, when to do it, what to eat, what not to eat, what to say, where to go, when to go to bed, when to wake up. You had no freedom. But now we have a lot of freedom of our thoughts, our minds, our own capability, our own capacity. We have a lot of our own thoughts. And yet we seem more stuck. We're less joyful than we ever were. See, something in that to me is a little messed up. It doesn't need to be that way. So do you think, is it possible that when you sit across from a prospect, somebody you're going to engage in your business, is there a chance, maybe quite possibly, they too might be less joyful than when they were 5 years old? See, this whole idea of being able to have a conversation and to be able to find something that you're both familiar with, rapport, we call it rapport. Are you developing rapport with your prospect? Both of you had childhoods. Both of you have had good experiences. Both of you have had bad experiences. Why do you feel it necessary to teach on your comp plan before you find out who this person is? Well, that's what I was taught. Show the plan, show the plan, show the plan. And that might be working for you. Don't stop. But isn't the person sitting across from you to possibly, quite possibly, hear about a chance at freedom, a chance at better health, a chance at more wealth, a chance at something better than what they have? Freedom just doesn't suddenly appear at the end of the journey. Somebody could get to their first rank. If you have ranks in your business, and I believe you do, some of you have hit your first rank. Some of you have hit your first pay rank, right? Advancement. What happens when you hit your first pay rank? Now what do? Now you're in the hunt for the next pay rank. Well, then once you hit that one, what do? You're in the hunt for the next one. What does a rank advancement require in your business? It requires some kind of increase, doesn't it? And if it requires some kind of increase, the only way you're going to have increase is either by having your current distributors buy more, if it's based on volume. But if it's based on number of souls you bring into your business, you're going to have people talk to people. How far down does your business duplicate? Do you have business on your 23rd level, on your 55th level, on your 66th level? How many levels deep does your business go? That's a form of duplication. See, Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. It's impossible for man to learn what he thinks he already knows. What do you think you know about your prospect? That ain't true. What do you think you know about you that's not serving you? Oh, I can do this. I'll get better at it tomorrow. We have all of these things, all of these stories that run in our head at a subconscious level that seem to quite possibly keep us stuck. What happens when you show up without an agenda? Now, I understand time management. Well, there's a fallacy there. You cannot manage time. You can only manage your energy in time. I'll do a whole training on time management, which is impossible, but how to get the most out of your time. I do a whole training on that. So what happens if you show up without an agenda? What if I could teach you in the next, I don't know, 20 minutes, how to show up totally present with a prospect and get them to tell you exactly how they want to get started? Would y'all want to hear that? Type a yes in the chat if you'd want to hear that. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. All right. So enough of you are listening. Good. Your next presentation, what is your desired outcome? Think about this. You don't have to type it in the chat. Thanks everybody for typing the yeses. You don't have to type it in the chat. What's your next desired outcome? Just think about it for a second. Some of you are saying in your head is to get them enrolled. I want to get them started. I want to get them in my business. What do you think their desired outcome is? Do you think their desire is to join you in business? If it was, you wouldn't have to have a 20-minute presentation. Couldn't you just hand them the paperwork and say, let's get started, sign hard, it's 3 copies? What's their outcome? Here's the problem why it might be difficult to sponsor people. Your outcome is here and their outcome is here, and the two never get together. So what's their desired outcome? Is their desired outcome misery or joy? And the challenge is they don't know what joy looks like. And you're talking to them about comp plans and ingredients and products they've never heard and name of companies they've never heard and things to do that scares the heck out of them. Yeah, all we do is talk to a few people. We get a few customers and we're doing good. They haven't ever been in business before. They've never had a customer and they've never gotten money, anything other than a job. What if you could find out what it is that they wanted? Well, I want them to get started. I know they would do so good in this. How many of us have ever said that? This would be the perfect thing for them. Absolutely, because we're on the other side of the curtain and we could see why it would be good for them. Sometimes they can't see right in front of their face things that are good for them. And then we're going to tell them this would be so good for you. You know what's running around in their head? Why didn't I see this before? It can't be good for me. Look who's giving it to me. You're not an expert in giving away good things. How many times have you given away good things to your friends and family or to other business people? Are you known for giving away good things? Are you known for giving people their dreams? Are you known for being that icon of success in your community? You got to remember, when you're having the conversation, are you having a conversation or a presentation? See, people do business with who? People they know, they like, and they trust. If prospects aren't signing up with you, you're failing in one of those three areas, quite possibly all three. Is it okay for them to say no? Absolutely. But why would we want to push them to a no? A no means I can't take anymore. But in sales, we say, hey, the presentation doesn't start till we hear the first no. Let's go. Let's get slick and slimy. Before we leave here today, I'll give you 4 things that changed my business. So how do you start? How you start is how you finish. Follow me on this. How you start is how you finish. If you start by you telling them about your company, telling them about what you've done, telling them about what the products do, telling them about what your team is, telling them about how much money people make, telling them how simple it is, guess what? It'll end by them telling you. It'll end by them telling you. One of the handful of objections that you normally get. If you talk about money, all they can hear is money. And when they hear money in their head, do they hear, man, I got too much, I don't know what to do? Or do they hear, I don't have enough money? And so that's why any of you have ever heard at the end of the presentation, oh, I'd love to get started. I'd love to get started, but I don't have any money. Anybody ever hear that objection? If you have, type an M in the chat. Oh, I don't have any money. Could it be possibly because all you talked about was money? How much everybody else could make, how much everybody else could earn, how much they could earn, what they could earn in their first week, what they could earn in their first year, how much your 7-figure income earner has earned. If you talk about time freedom, they can only hear how much of a prisoner they are. If you've ever heard the phrase, what you resist persists. How many of us have children and we've tried to tell our children to do something and they're like, eat the peas, eat the peas. Look at my comp plan. It's so good. I don't want a comp plan. Look, but it's my comp plan. It's the best comp plan in the industry. This is all about human psychology, human behavior. How many of you are excited to tell people about your flagship ingredient, Walla Walla Bing Bang, grown on the side of a mountain, picked on the third full moon of the year, that you can only get a handful, and what it does for people is amazing. Or let me tell you about the 13 ways we make money in our comp plan. How many of you like to be around people who are brilliantly smart and telling you all of the things they know? How many of you ask before you go to a party, is Sean going to be there? Yes. Ugh. He's going to tell me about the 75 things he did last week. And it's so aggravating. Sean's just as know-it-all. Any of us ever have a know-it-all friend? Any of us have somebody that we like, ugh, So come get me in 5 minutes. Come get me in 5 minutes, please. You're already in business. Listen to me. I hope you hear this. You're already in business. And you being in business is already a significant advancement over what the prospect is doing. You already have the success. Why make them feel? Now, here's the other thing. How many of you believe your business is simple? If you believe your business is simple, I didn't say it was easy, but it's simple to understand and comprehend. Type an S in the chat. If you believe it's simple, then here's the challenge. Why doesn't everybody get started? Why doesn't everybody get started? The reason they don't get started is because they don't think they can do it. I get it. There's some folks that just don't have enough money to get started. I get that. They're hoping, they're wanting, they're wishing, but here's the reality. You can teach them how to raise the money. You can teach them to refer 5 or 6 customers to you. Refer 5 or 6 customers to me. Let's get 5 or 6 of you to go all in. Listen, I've done business in Latin America. I've done a little business in Africa, but I've done business all across Europe, in Canada, Latin America, and it doesn't matter. There's people who are on hard times in every part of the world, even here in the US. And they say, I want to do this. Tell me how. And I'll say, go get 10 of your friends. You each put $10 in, get a sample, sell it, create the profit, get another one, sell it, and start taking that profit, and then pick whoever the next one is to get your business started. I've had 10, 15 people, 20 people co-op together, work together so that they can all get their businesses. Then each of them have their own independent businesses. You've got to be creative. Listen, they're going to need people on their team anyway. Why not start together? I had a group in Germany 18 years ago. An attorney said, I'm done with being an attorney. He went to all of his staff, and he went from the secretary to the other attorneys to all of the PAs, the paralegals. And he said, who wants to join me? Because I'm going to close the office in 90 days. The secretary was the first one to sign up, and everybody else went, you're nuts. And about 3 or 4 people left. Only about 3 or 4 people went with them. At the end of that year, 12 months later, the secretary was at over 6, I think she was close to 6 figures a month because they worked together. The rest of the law firm eventually came on board. But my point is that be creative. It's not about how smart you are, it's how smart you can provide solutions. They feel they don't know how to play the game when you show up smart to the plans to play the game. And they give you the standard objections. And listen, a lot of us aren't smart enough to deal with these. I don't have money. I don't have time. How many of you have ever gotten I don't have money, I don't have time? I know a lot of you have been on these calls, have seen that. So here's the challenge. So here's how you simply deal with that. When somebody says you don't have money, you want to know a simple answer? Money for what? A simple question. Money for what? What do you need money for? Well, to get started in your business. Why would you ever want to get started in the business? Well, to create some income. Is income important to you? Well, yeah. So when do you want to get started? Yeah, but I don't have the money. Well, then what would you need the money for? Because this is a pattern. If listen, humanity is predictable. If I say up, you said down. I said in, you said out. I said hot, you said cold. If I said I need money, you're going to say I don't have money. So what if you started off the conversation before you ever got into the presentation, you set the stage that money wouldn't be a problem, that time wouldn't be a problem. I'll teach you that before we get off the call today. So what do? How do you get that hamster off the wheel? How do you get them to break their old paradigm? How do you get them to decide that they want some real freedom? Give them back the control you keep telling them they have. You keep telling them in your presentations, you'll have time freedom, you'll have money freedom. Why is it you that's going to be the one that's going to give it to them? Can't you let them have it right now? Can't you let them make a decision from a decision of freedom, a decision of choice versus an injected value? Too often we say, here's what you need to do. And we don't give them a chance to see it through their eyes. Give them back the control. I'll teach you the 4 questions that I've shared with people around the world. I'll teach you the 4 questions you can use. You want to know the most powerful question you can ask when you sit down with a prospect? The most powerful question you can ask is a very simple question. The most powerful question you could ask is, hey, tell me why we're here. Very few of you probably have ever heard that. Some of you have heard it and not used it yet. Some of you have used it and it's worked amazingly well. Hey, listen, before we get started, why are we here? What might their answer be? Well, I don't know. You were going to tell me about your business. I know, but why do you want to hear it? Jasmine, it is their why, but it's not really their why. Because it's not, it's to help overcome their why not. Because listen, I promise you, there's very few prospects you're going to sit down with that know their why. Heck, there's 135 people on this call. I bet only a handful know their why. And if we sat down with them, if I sat down with them and we had a little conversation, their why would change. Because their why is up here. When the why moves to down here, that's when it changes. So you sit down with a prospect and you say to them, hey, listen, I appreciate you. And this could be a Zoom, a phone call, a conference call, a one-on-one, a coffee shop. When we get back to coffee shops. So, hey, Rhonda, tell me, why are we here? And you'll watch kind of their brain go, because they were waiting for the pitch. They had all of their objections ready. They had all of their reasons to say no. They had them all ready. They've been to this before. They've done this before. They're hoping you're different, but when you start saying, here's my comp plan, here's my company, here's the number, they go, oh, this is the same thing. And now they can run their programming. Now they can press play on their objection schedule, and they go, I've got this objection, this objection, this objection, this objection. But if you sit down and I say, I'm just looking at the screens, I say, hey, Jennifer, do me a favor, tell me why you're here. And Jennifer goes, well, I'd like to learn a little bit about your business. Awesome. What would be the most important thing you'd want to hear in the next 20 minutes? Are you looking for a solution in the next 24 hours? Are you looking for a solution in the next 7 days? Are you looking for is this a kind of a side gig that you're looking for a solution over time? What would be the most important thing for you to hear in the next 20 minutes? No, I'm really hurting. I need some money right now. I gotta come up with a 24, 48-hour solution. Okay. If we could guide you towards that, and I don't know if this is going to work for you, but if there's a way for you to put some effort in and you to see some results in 48 hours, would you want to have the conversation? What do I talk about now? Every time I present something, any part of my presentation that I present is going to be designed to do what? To give the 48-hour solution. Don't you think quite possibly, maybe, just maybe, when they hear that there's a solution designed specifically for them, it might be easier for them to say yes? See, if they're sitting down with you, they want a solution. The challenge is you're trying to throw darts at a dartboard with a blindfold on because you don't know what they're really looking for. And you're just going to keep throwing, and you're going to keep saying stuff, and you're going to keep throwing stuff, and you're going to keep saying stuff till you hopefully you hit a target. And you get what they call in sales a buying signal. When they ask you a buying question, how much does this cost? Oh, that's a buying question. They're interested in what I have. You have one of the greatest opportunities available to people. You have the ability to provide a solution to them that no one else on the planet can provide. Because no matter your company or comp plan or business or product, the only thing that makes your company unique when you're sitting in front of a prospect is what? Is you. They're not buying the company. They're buying you. They're not buying your team as much as you talk about them and as much as you love them and as much as you feel they're of value. They're not buying that. They're buying you. So would it be okay if you showed up not knowing all the answers? Because guess what? They're showing up not knowing all the answers either. Would it be okay for you to say, hey, listen, is it okay if we have a conversation that serves both of us, that serves you and serves me? Listen, I may not know all of the answers, but if I don't know the answers, is it okay if I find out the questions for you? If I find out the answers for you? If it's multiple people, Laura, how many people is multiple people? Are you talking like when you're doing in front of a room? So I would still ask the same question. Hey, listen, do me a favor. Why are you here? And then I would pick a couple of them. How many would you agree that most of us are in those buckets? I'm here to learn about time freedom. I'm here about this. I'm here. How many of us would agree that you're in one of those buckets? Anybody in a bucket completely different? Same thing. I'd have them type it in the chat. Is it Marciela? Mariciela? I'd have them type it in the chat. Do what I do. How did I engage you? How many of us are here to trying to find a financial solution? Type a dollar sign or an F in the chat. Don't have them type the whole word, because if you were talking to me, I couldn't spell financial. I don't know how to spell. Seriously, I had a 0.9 grade point average. No, but what I'm saying is those are questions that you could ask if you're doing a Zoom like this. So the first question that I ask prospects is, hey, do me a favor. Tell me why we're here. I do this on 3 ways. I do this on 5 ways. And if there's 3 or 4 people that are on a Zoom that are prospects that are coming to me, somebody's bringing them. I've got different leaders bringing prospects to do a 2 o'clock call. I'll ask them, hey, do me a favor. Before we get started, I want to find out why each of us are here. And if I have a 1-hour presentation with all of them and it takes me 45 minutes to get all that information in, guess what happens in the next 15 minutes? Everything for them to say yes. So that's the first question. Here's the other 3 questions, because we're getting close to the hour being up, and then we'll do some Q&A. Is this of value? Was this good this morning for you? Are you glad you showed up? If you're glad you showed up, yeah, type a G or yes in the chat. Okay, good. Good. So here's the reality. Let me get this off over here. There we go. So here's the next 3 questions. You may want to write these down. So now that we know why they're there, would it be fair to say that you as the one who knows what you're talking about, your business, would it be fair to say that you're there to bring them value? And if you're there to bring them value, how many of us have ever had a prospect who seems a little bit nervous? And when they're a little bit nervous, can they hear everything? How many people have always been afraid to accept somebody else's ideas? So here's the first question. Hey, listen, Leo, thanks for sharing with me why you're here. I got 3 real simple questions. Would it be okay if I asked you 3 questions? See, I'm always going to ask permission to ask questions. So the first question is listen, I don't know if we're going to work together. I hope we do, but I don't know if we will. But I might be able to provide some value to you. And I know sometimes when we hear new things, it might seem, well, it just might go in one ear and out the other. I don't know if you've ever been in those situations before. I know I have. So here's my first question to you is, do I have your permission to help? If I hear something and I can give you, now it doesn't mean you need to use my help, but would you give me permission to provide you some information that I think might be of value to you? Would it be okay if I helped? And they're going to answer possibly. I've had 2 people say no out of the thousands that I've asked. And if somebody says no, I go, great. What do you want for coffee? Because we're done talking. But most people, 99.9% of the people say yes. And I go, great. Here's the next question. The next question is going to be a little bit tougher. Now, if you answer it right, you're going to love question number 3. So here's the question number 2. Do I have your permission to make you feel just a little bit uncomfortable? Because here's the reality. Here's the psychology of this. If they're going to go after something they've not had before, they're going to have to think a way they've never thought before, which causes them to feel a way they've never felt before, which then causes them to think a way they've never thought before. But then they've got to do actions they've never done before. Isn't that the perfect recipe for disaster? And you're trying to get people signed up, sign right here. And they got to go talk about something they've never talked about, learn about something they've never thought about before, and do something they've never done before. You really think you're that good to get people to stay, your retention that high that you can get people to do that? I'm not. So question number 2 is, do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Because we're going to talk about breaking some old habits. We're going to talk about doing some new things. And so they'll probably say, yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And I go, thank goodness, because you're going to love question number 3. Before we leave here today, would it be okay if I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? Because I do not want to leave you there. Listen, we may not do business together. This may be the last time we ever see each other, but I don't want you leaving frustrated. Would that be okay? And you can watch their shoulders drop. You'll watch them swallow a little bit. You'll watch their eyes reduce in dilation because they're not as stressed as they were. But now, guess what you can have a conversation about with this prospect? Just about anything. See, the challenge is that your business presentation, the question number 3 was, can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? And you'll watch them relax. You'll watch them possibly lean back a little. You'll hear their feet shuffle. There's all of these things, these micro expressions that happen in the body that they can't even control. It's going to happen regardless. And now you can have a conversation. Now you know why they're there. You know you can help. You know you've got permission to make them feel a little bit uncomfortable, and you have to keep your promise of taking them out of that uncomfortable spot. Well, it's not hypnotic. It's just you've asked questions. It may produce a feeling of hypnosis, but it's not hypnotic at all. What it is it's to get them focused, to bring them into this conversation. It seems hypnotic, it seems neurolinguistic, but it's not. It's simply asking the questions that we would want to ask anyways, but nobody has ever taught you to ask those questions. I shouldn't say nobody. I've not heard anybody else teach those questions. And if they have, it's probably because they were in one of my trainings for over the last 20 years. But what it does is it takes away their objections. It takes away, they can still say no. They have total control. You've given them total control because you're not going to ask them a question that makes them feel uncomfortable. And if it does, say, listen, remember question number 2? This one may make you feel uncomfortable. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it. Cool. All right, I understand. If your prospect is sitting down from you, they're wanting help. They're needing help. Here's the thing. Hippocrates found out years ago when he was living, which was more than a decade ago, right? Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, if somebody has a cold, he found out there's 4 kinds of people that can have a cold. And he started to treat people based upon their personality for the disorder they had. That's why every personality test breaks everything into 4. DISC, red, blue, green, yellow. You're a bat, you're a bird, you're a duck, you're a lion. It just breaks it into all of these different things. So here's the reality. You have listen, this is a tough one for us to grasp. You have a 75% chance of failure the next time you talk to somebody. Why? Because you don't speak their language. How many of us are just, we're over the top people. We wear some gold. We like our watches. We like our cars, and we're go, 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 baby. Let's go. Let's have fun. We're going to party, man. Let's party, rock on. We might be a red. I just love helping people. I just love helping people. I'm not in it for the money. I just love helping people. How about, well, wait a minute. I need to know the ingredients. I need to know what kind of ink do you use on your materials, on all of your documents? What kind of materials do you use on your packaging? Do you use vegetable ink? Is the cardboard recycled cardboard, or is it virgin cardboard? Because if it's virgin cardboard, I'm not going to do business with you. Like, what are you talking about? Y'all get me? So, if you've got a question, I'd love to answer some questions now. Go ahead and raise your hand. There's a way to raise your hand inside of the chats there, and we'll have a conversation. Let me see. Somebody just asked a question here. Now the question is, are we in that flow giving the support they need? Because in my case, I lose the lack of comfort in myself. Yep. So that is what I pass. I need to understand that I'm enough. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. All too often, anytime we get uncomfortable, it's because we're trying to control the story. The story should be coming out of, here's what my daddy said. My daddy said, the only reason you have a presentation, this is going to blow some of your minds, is so they can tell you how they want to get started. Think about that. The only reason somebody wants to have sit down with you, the only thing you should be doing is having a conversation so they can tell you how to get started. Do they really need to know there's 83 ways to make money in your comp plan? What's the one thing they need to know in your compensation plan? The next thing. They don't need to know there's 18 ways to make money, or 75 this, or champions that, or blue ribbon this, or grand poobah that, or 8 levels of this. None of that matters. That's like going up to a girl and, ladies, please know I love you. That's like going up to a girl in the bar and saying, hey, listen, buy you a drink? What are we going to name the kid? What? That's just stupid. We'd never do that, although some of us might, but we'd never do that. Hey, you're pretty, listen, I'm going to date myself with, I never did a pickup. I never picked up a girl in a bar, had a conversation. I was too nervous. I couldn't have I would throw up before I could talk to a girl. So when I say this, it's like, hey, what's your numbers? And what ring size are you? We're going to get married. What? So Alex, you got your hand up.
Yeah, hi Sean. How are you doing this morning? Outstanding, right? Let me just.
Hang on, I'm not hearing you. Hold on. Let me switch
Yep.
my audio. Hang on. Hold please.
Mm-hmm.
Audio. Say something, Alex.
Can you hear me? Now?
Sean, can you hear Alex?
Can you hear Alex?
You just have to mute this person. I know who this is.
Can you hear us, Sean? No, he can't hear you yet, Alex. Hang on.
Samsung.
Yeah.
Alex, say something.
Can you hear me now?
No, I cannot hear you guys. Hey, is that? Hold, please. Try now, Alex.
Can you hear us now?
Speaker. Let me try this over here. One more time.
You hear now?
Okay, now I hear it. I don't know.
All right, perfect. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Outstanding, brother.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Not any questions. Just to remind, I did the thing last night.
Okay, good.
I did it. After the conversation with you and RBP, I did not think to myself one single time how silly this was and how stupid it was or whatever, because the impact, I actually chatted with RBP later. I journaled everything we spoke about and some additional thoughts that I had on that. Literally teared up in the room, remembering the scene that I told you about that we spoke about.
Yep.
It was even like more emotional when I like got with myself to think about it by myself and journal it. So that was pretty huge impact. Yeah. So I just want to tell you that.
Awesome. Glad you got it done. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Hey, Leo, you got your hand up. Let's go to New York. It is New York, right, or Jersey?
New York, New Jersey.
New York, New Jersey. We're going to line 4 on Jersey. Go ahead, Jersey. You're on line 4.
Oh, no. Don't relate me to Jersey, Sean. I'm from the Bronx, man.
Bronx, baby. Yeah, coffee. Get your coffee. Let's get on. Give me a regular. 2 creams and a sugar.
Good morning, everybody. Great to see you all. Good morning, Sean. My question, I love the way that you are in someone's world when you're asking these questions, to really relate with them, to bring them to a place I don't think they expect. I think it's beautiful. One of the things I'm learning from you is to read between the lines, to be, yes, you're at the forefront, you're in the moment, you're being present, but at the same time, it's like you're omnipresent almost, asking these questions. My question is simply, how would you relate this to inviting someone to see a presentation, to come to an event, to for the first time ever taking a look at what we do? How would you shape this way of asking questions to how you would?
In sales, they call it framing. Set the frame, right? The picture that should go in the frame is the event, right? So we've got to put the frame. We've got to build a frame around the event. And how many sides are there to a frame?
4.
So if there was only 3 sides to it, would it be called a frame?
No.
So we have to complete the frame. It may not be 4 things we need to do, but we need to encapsulate that picture of the event so that they want to look at it. There's actually 2 parts. There's actually 2 parts to having the conversation. 1, the answer, and then 2, the confirmation. All too often, we stop at the answer. So just be a polite guest. I'm going to ask you to an event and you say yes. Hey, Leo, we've got an event on Thursday. It's over at the Three Towers. It's on the 3rd floor. I'd love for you to come. Could you come?
Yeah.
And we think we have a prospect. Because they know that'll shut you up. How many of us have ever been in an argument and we've said to the person we're arguing with, you're right. I can't argue anymore because you just told me I'm right. I know I'm not right, and you know I'm not right, but you know how to stop the conversation by saying, you're right. So the first thing we have to do is we've got to frame the event. The event needs a frame. So you be a prospect. You can be as tough as you want.
Okay.
Hey, Leo, I'm glad we had this conversation. It sounds like you might be you could be excited about listening and learning more. Did I hear that right, or was I at a different meeting?
I'm always curious. I'm always curious.
Cool. Let me ask you, how much money do you get paid to be curious?
Well, that depends, because if my curiosity, leads me to an opportunity and I take advantage of it, then.
Okay, so you understand that curiosity needs to lead to some action.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is your curiosity high enough to take another action?
Well, what is it? What's there for me to actually increase my curiosity?
Well, we just spent a half hour you talking about income. I showed you ways to create income for you to leverage your time and your experience. Do we need to repeat that, or did you forget about that?
No, I didn't forget that.
Okay, so I guess that would be the only reason. Do you have any, is your curiosity enough to learning about additional income and how to leverage timing in the international global market of trade? Is your curiosity high enough to take the next step, to take the next action? Doesn't mean you're getting started, but to find out if this is really a fit for you?
You know what? Yeah, I'm ready to cure my curiosity.
Okay, so when's the last time your curiosity turned into something positive and you were glad you followed through on it?
Just yesterday, my curiosity of trying this new salsa for my chips, man, like, it was really good. It was, it worked, so.
So you're curious about salsa and curious about income. How do we decide which one we'll be happier with? Because maybe your curiosity for salsa is all you need, and you don't need anything else in your life.
Well, the great thing is that, I have salsa all around, right? I dance salsa, and I love, really good salsa from my chips. But I think what I'm really looking to cure with my curiosity is another way out.
Okay.
Just another way to make money to help increase my my retirement fund, my future.
Okay. So if tomorrow or whenever the event is, if you come to the event, there's going to be a handful of things that might serve your curiosity. Could I let you know what those handful of things might be, so that when we get there, if you want me to introduce you to each of those specific levels of curiosity to solve those, we could do that. But I want you to know going in beforehand. So there's going to be a presentation, there's going to be a presenter, and there's going to be some other people who talk about their success. Now, they may be less than you want, they may be more than you want. The question is will your curiosity let you listen to how you can interpret it, how you can make it work for you? Would that be okay if you listen from your own perspective?
Yes.
Cool. And then at the end of our time together, I don't know if it'll be an hour or 45 minutes or an hour and a half. If in the first, I'm going to ask you to at least commit to an hour. In the first hour, if you feel that there's a way to answer and solve the curiosity, to turn your curiosity into action, would spending an hour be okay?
An hour seems a little, I'm a pretty busy guy, so
okay.
maybe.
So your busyness right now, is that taking care of your 401k, your retirement, and everything else? Because if it is, there's no reason to go to the meeting.
I just have just a few commitments, but I can
Totally
see
get
that.
it. Commitments are awesome, but is it a commitment that's going to help you increase your retirement? That's all we're having a conversation here. Guess what? Do me a favor, say no
No.
and say yes.
Yes.
Guess who's in charge of this whole conversation?
I am.
So do you want to go to the event or not? Either way, it's fine with me.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay. So if we go, will you commit to the hour?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And if at the end of the hour you have to go, totally get up and run. But if it's piqued your curiosity, I'd love to introduce you to the speaker and a couple other people that you could ask them the tough questions. Because listen, I'm the idiot in this conversation. You know what you want. I'm not sure I know what you want, but I know there's people at this event that can help guide you to what you want. Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'm getting dressed right now to go to that event.
Okay, cool. It's tomorrow, but get dressed now. I'll pick you in a day.
Awesome, Sean. Awesome. And I mean, I get you took time to really build a relationship, to really have this kind of conversation. So, you know, you're really going with quality over quantity of time, basically. Okay.
I spent 2 hours on a three-way with a gentleman the other day that I said about 4 minutes worth of conversation, and he spoke for 2 hours.
Mm. And this was a new prospect, a new
Prospect, not even sure if he signed up yet. But it was the first time in 60 years he'd been heard.
wow. Yeah.
We've texted a whole bunch of times. He's absolutely engaged. I gave him I was a resource for him for some other things, but I loved listening to his stories. My daddy always said the most important call you're on, the most important sale presentation you're on is what? The one you're on.
Mm.
That help?
Tremendously. Thank you, Sean.
What'd you learn? What'd you like?
What I learned is to slow down. You know, you said it earlier in the questions that you were asking, which was, you know, you hit one rank and you're ready to run to the next rank, or you're already been running to the next rank. So everything that you're doing is predicated on this time. You know, that's not related to everybody else's time. You know, you're I guess also it relates to the law of least effort. You know, you're being more,
Here's the
being
thing.
less.
We run for a rank in our company, but what rank are you already at?
Me personally?
So what if your salsa company was a network marketing company, what rank would you be at in your salsa company?
I'll be, I mean, the highest probably.
You'd be the master distributor.
Yeah, master.
Then why do you walk into a company that's in trading and you put yourself at the lowest rank? Because they put you there. And you think, oh shit, I gotta be there. I'm the lowest rank in this company. I'm just getting started. No, you're at the highest rank in your life. You're the best you'll ever be. Can't you be as good as you are right now? Or don't they get to leverage you? Don't they get to bring you over as the master distributor of your salsa training dancing company? And you come over here, oh, I'm new to this.
Mm.
It's a fundamental psychological beat the living bejeebies out of you to think you're not good enough. How can anybody bring you into their company and go, hey, listen, let me introduce you to Tommy. He just got started. He enrolled yesterday. Why don't we tell the story of, let me introduce you to Leo. He has this amazing dance company in the Bronx. He's got this partner. Oh my God, if you watch the two of them on YouTube dancing, you're going to fall in love with your bride again. You're going to be dancing naked in your living room. Let me introduce you to Leo. What does it matter that you just enrolled? Why do we do this to people? They're brand new. Why? Because we want to say, I'm their sponsor. I'm higher than them.
Mm.
Oh, snap.
Mm.
Can you tell the story when you introduce somebody as opposed to, they're mine. I just enrolled them. They're in my business. Let me introduce you to Rhonda. Oh my gosh, she's got this master's degree. She's got these two specialties. I always put it up in some kind of heart cardiology, special Western medicine, I mean, she's brilliant. She's got this amazing daughter that she was never supposed to have. Everybody in medical practice said you can't have a child. 9 years ago, she was blessed with it. Let me introduce you to Rhonda.
Mm.
Do you know her rank? Do you know how much money she makes? Let me introduce you to this amazing soul. She traveled in her car in the middle of the night as far as the gas could take her, and she left her house, she left her life because it was absolutely crushing her, and she couldn't do it anymore. And she packed up a bag with her kids, and she's been doing this business for 6 years. The fact that she makes 200K plus a month, does that matter? Doesn't matter at all.
Mm.
Why do we put ranks and titles and money on people's names? The hell?
As always, yes. I love you, Sean. Thank you
I
so
love you,
much.
brother.
Thank you.
Awesome. Is it Sierra Bray? Sure, I'm probably gonna say that.
Yes, hi.
Hi, did I say it right?
Yes.
Yay, one out of 100. How can I help you?
So I had a question. I wrote it in the chat. I was just basically saying, after you ask for their permission to make them feel uncomfortable, is that when you go into sharing about the opportunity? Or
No.
Okay.
So after you ask him permission to make him feel uncomfortable, you got to ask him the third question. Can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
Okay.
And then when they told you why they are here, I'm here to do this, this, and this. Great. Let me ask you 3 questions. The next thing I ask him is, in the next 20 or 30 minutes, what would be the most valuable bit of information you will feel comfortable to walk away with that'll make this conversation worth your while? What do you want out of the next 20 minutes? There's something you're looking for. Sarah, there's something you want that maybe I have to share. I may have to call somebody based upon what you want. But what is it you want out of the next 20 minutes? What one thing do you want to leave with that you say, you know what? This is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Sierra, if I were to sit down with you and you were a prospect, do you remember what it was that you wanted when you got started? Maybe it's the same thing. Sierra, if we spend 20 minutes together, if you and I spend 20 minutes together, what would you want out of the 20 minutes that we spend together?
Valuable information that'll get me to the next level.
Awesome. Tell me what the next level looks like for you.
Financial freedom, elevation in life,
Okay,
more money.
What would financial freedom look for you right now? Is there a number to it?
Buying, not shopping, but buying.
Okay.
Since
So how much, because if it didn't matter if you had $1 million, you could spend that in a day and be broke again. What would financial freedom look like?
Generational wealth too.
Okay, so you have $1?
I have a daughter.
No, $1. $1.
Oh, $1. Yeah.
Could you put that in a savings account today?
Yes.
Sure you could. And could
Oh
you?
no, it had to be a minimum of 100.
Okay, so let's say $100. Do you have $100?
Yes.
Could you put that in a savings account today?
Yes.
Could you leave that for your daughter?
Yes.
You already have generational wealth. What are we talking about here?
No. That's not. I want riches.
That's generational wealth. That's generational wealth. You said generational wealth, so you didn't define it for me. I need to get something clear. You need to give me a bit clearer picture because this generational wealth doesn't mean anything. I just showed you that you could leave $100 to your daughter and maybe to her child. That's generational wealth. Tell me what generational wealth means.
Oh no, where she's financially set.
Listen, you keep saying
With
these
that.
things, there's nothing specific. Suppose she's living on poverty row, God forbid. $100 would mean a lot to somebody who's poor and destitute, living in a home and living in a cardboard box, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Here's why we have such hard problem, ladies and gentlemen, finding our goals is we have nothing specific. Are you talking $100 million in wealth that's you're going to leave generationally? Are you talking about $1 million? You talking about $10 million? See, this generational wealth, we throw it around. Some mentors throw it around going, we're here to create generational wealth. They don't even know when it happens. Let me ask you, how long do you want your wealth to last, Sierra?
Forever.
Well, that'd be good. If you could figure that out, you should write your own Bible. So here's a question to you. Forever is how long? You know anybody's wealth who's lasted forever?
No, well, no.
So I don't even know why you're on my call, because I can't teach you anything if that's going to be your desire.
Oh.
Listen, I'm loving you. I appreciate you. But if you've got to come up with some things that your brain can wrap its arms around, because the brain looks for two things. Will it kill me, or how fast can I recognize the pattern? And if there's no pattern for what you're doing, it's got to see everything as a threat. This is just at a subconscious level. I get what you're saying. I'm on your side, but I want you to see the results. I don't want you to keep swinging in the wind and wishing that things would change. Your last check with your company, did it have a comma in it?
No.
Okay, so we need to change that. Why don't we talk about financial freedom right now to start on a path to get a comma in your check? And then what would be the next thing we'd want in that check? We'd want 5 digits. Then we'd want 6 digits. We'd want 2 commas in a check. All I do is teach people how to get to 2 commas. Once you get there, you'll figure out the rest on your own. You can get possibly in a lifetime to 3 commas. But what if we worked on getting you to 1 comma in your check consistently? In the next 60 days, would you be okay with a comma in your check? Would that change your trajectory?
Yes.
Would that help you and your daughter?
Yes.
Okay. Would you feel comfortable telling me your daughter's name?
Elena.
Elena?
Yes.
Okay. So watch this, Sierra. If every day we had a conversation, the only thing I needed to ask you is how much have we put away for Elena? Would you have any fear of prospecting?
No.
Would you have any fear of would you feel at all threatened if somebody rejected you?
No.
No. So all we need to do is take care of Elena. And God willing, as Elena grows up and she finds the love of her life and she has a child, they have a child, what name might excite you if they named your granddaughter or grandson? What name would be a name you'd want for your granddaughter or grandson? Now, they'll get to pick it, but right now, if you had a choice, what would be their name?
Talitha.
Talitha?
Yes.
Okay, so now here's the next question. Now we've got Elena taken care of, so now in 60 days, I'm going to be saying, okay, what are we doing for Talitha? Do I really have to motivate you anymore?
Mm-mm.
See, this isn't about generational wealth. This is about taking care of Elena and taking care of Talitha.
Yes.
If we take care of those two, don't you think we might have a path for Elena to run on, a track for her to run on, and a track for Talitha to run on to take care of their grandchildren and their grandchildren and their grandchildren? Haven't you created a wealth that's now never ending?
Yes.
Would it be okay if we helped you do that?
Yes.
You feel different, don't you? You sound different.
Okay. Yes, I see you. That's awesome.
I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you
Love
for,
you too. Thank you.
thank you for letting me be a little rough with you, but it's because
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
cool. Y'all see what just happened? We all get excited about saying these big things. It's like when people call themselves mentors and they can't even spell the word. And we have these, we let innocent souls like Sierra say, I want generational wealth and I want total financial freedom. I want to leave money for my kids. Do you know how much you have? It's nice to say those things, but now all of a sudden, whoever Sierra's sponsor is, I hope you wrote down those 2 names, Alina and Talitha. I hope you wrote down those names, because when you give them a call after this call and you say, listen, I'm here to support you. What can we do for Elena today? Get out of her way. You want to listen. This is like trying to get between a bear mama and her cub. I dare anybody to step in between Sierra and her daughter. You want to lose a limb? Do it. I dare you. But you guys want to motivate her with money. You can't motivate her with money. She's got a daughter. There ain't nothing in this world more precious than a child. I don't know if she has more than 1 child. But you tell her that she can't take care of her? Get the heck out the way. Get out the way. but you guys are motivating with I shouldn't say motivating with the wrong thing. You're motivating with things that don't motivate. Who gets excited about generational wealth? It sounds nice. It makes a nice bumper sticker. It doesn't do nothing. Whoever her sponsor is, there's not a comma in her check. If you're really here to help her create financial freedom, get a comma in a check. Teach her the science of human behavior. Well, I don't know about that. Well, good luck then. Because what happens if your company closed yesterday? If your company closed yesterday, you've taught all of this stuff about your particular business model, and now you got to learn something new. You're back to zero. I choose not to go back to zero. I build people, not companies. Jose, you got your hand up. Good morning, Jose. Jose Miguel Reynoso. You there? There you go.
I'm here. I thought you were muted me. I'm sorry. Good morning, Sean. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to participate. It is my first time here.
Woohoo! Give Jose some love, baby.
Yeah, thank you very much. A lot of valuable information that can help us develop our business to the next level. So let me ask you something. The question that I have is the following. You come across a lot of people that that have a lot of potential, that that have everything needed to be successful in my business, for example, in I Am Academy, for example, right?
Yep.
So what do you do when somebody that that has all the potential to develop the business does not believe in network marketing, for example? And that there's something you can tell this person that would just flip everything over. What do you usually come across, and how do you handle this situation when there's, I usually tell people, you know what, just sit down and watch my results, and then we'll take it from there. Because honestly, I'm going to have results, and you will see them. This is a very good project. I am very certain that this is going to work for you, because I know that you have it all. I know that you have everything you need to be successful in this business.
Yep.
And I can help you get there. I can help you. I can guide you through, and we can do it together, and we can definitely make it happen. I believe in your potential. I want you to believe in the opportunity. So what do you tell people, and how you deal with these situations usually?
Well, I love what you said there, Jose, because we got to get out of their eyes. I'm sorry, get out of their ears and into their eyes. So we do have to show them. But if I'm having a conversation with somebody who's proven in their world, they already have had potential and they've already used their potential. So these people that you speak about that you potentially may come across or have come across, have they proven in their past that they've used their potential to achieve some new success? That would be my question to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. This is people that have been successful in the past.
Here's the thing. So here's the question. Here's the conversation that I would have. Hey, let me ask you a question. And you and I can role play this. Jose, you've achieved some pretty amazing success in certain areas of your life. Were you familiar with the path of how to achieve that success before you did it? Or did you have to learn along the way and work through some challenges to achieve success in that particular place in your life as you were on that journey?
I had to cross a lot of barriers. It wasn't easy, and I learned how to do it.
Okay. So what drove you across those barriers? What made you cross the river when there was no bridge? What drove you to do that?
The desire that I had for success, and the hunger that I had for success, and all the goals that I had clearly in my mind that would help me get and overcome any difficult situation.
Okay. So what made you pick that particular path to go down versus something else?
Well, the thing is that I've always heard that these network marketing companies, they're pyramids. They're just everybody on top gets everything, okay, and then the people.
And listen, you and I were role playing. You're playing a prospect. No.
I know we're role playing. I was just trying to.
Okay, good. Okay. I just want to make sure. So no. What I'm talking about, Jose, is those places in your life where you were already successful. What made you pick to go after that mountaintop? What made you pick to go after that horizon in the other areas in your life? What was the thing that drove you?
I wanted to leave a legacy. I wanted to be an example. I wanted to be the first millionaire in my family, and I wanted to leave a legacy. I wanted to do something different than the most of the people, and that was what was pushing me to do it.
Awesome. So here's a tough question for you. You know we're friends, right? You know I like you. Why are you going to be selfish?
I'm sorry. I don't know. Can you repeat that?
Sure. My question is why are you going to be selfish?
We're role playing, right? Wait. Are you taking me out of the role play?
Yeah, we're role playing.
Okay.
So, the reason I ask you why you're going to be selfish is that you were the first one to make $1 million in your family. Do you think anybody else could follow your method and your model to make the $1 million for them?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do.
You think so? With your business model, you think there's going to be generations that come after you that are going to have a plan in place to know how to do what you did?
Yes, definitely.
Wow. Then why are you the first one? If the plan was in place beforehand, you had to break some rules. Don't you think somebody's not going to follow the rules? Because you broke the rules. If you're the first millionaire, that means nobody in the history of the avatars of your family has anybody ever been a millionaire.
That's correct.
So then why are you being selfish? Why'd you break the rules?
Because it's somebody has to do it first.
Cool. So do you think the second one's going to have it easier, or are they going to just think that you should give them the money? Doesn't anybody think who comes after you that you need to give them your wealth?
Usually people believe that. Yes, that's right.
So you're going to give them your wealth?
I'm going to make them earn it as well, or maybe duplicate it.
So they can't do what you did because they're not you.
But they have their own talents that they can develop.
Absolutely. So who are you going to pick first?
Whoever wants to develop their talent and make it and make an impact in their own life with their own talents.
Awesome. So is it just going to be people in your family?
Absolutely not. It's not going to be only people in my family. There's a lot of people out there that like you that have this potential.
Okay. So what are they going to make their $1 million in?
I'm sorry. Would you repeat that?
So you're the first one in your family outside of network marketing to create $1 million in some kind of passion that you had. What if they don't have your passion, but they want to make $1 million?
I would try to make them understand that passion is the only thing that would drive you, that would drive you to success.
Right. So can you teach them to do so? Just pick a business model that you made your $1 million in.
For example, any business model?
Yeah, any business model. I don't care if it's chocolate.
Personalized deliveries.
Okay. So customized deliveries. You're the king of customized deliveries. What if they want to do it in flowers? Can you teach them?
Yes.
How could you teach them? Your whole life you've spent in customized deliveries. You know nothing about raising flowers and flower beds and how to purchase and procure flowers from around the world so that you can have it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wouldn't it make sense? Go ahead.
I will find somebody that knows about that area of specifically in that area, and I will make sure that that person does with the knowledge does help me develop it.
So you're going to open up another business then?
No.
Or you're just going to give away your knowledge?
Sean, I'm so sorry. Listen, I'm not following through here. I'm sorry.
My point is that when somebody has tremendous talent,
right.
The question is how long will their talent last in that market segment? If you became the greatest in customized deliveries and your kids didn't want to do it, because most of the times they don't want to, they do, third generation usually screws it up.
Right.
Started off as somebody's got tremendous talent and success. how do we get them to look at using that and leveraging it over here in network marketing? Where I was going with that is they can only be very good at what they do. Network marketing allows millions of people to become good at what they do and follow your leadership. You don't have to build the model. The model is already in place.
Exactly.
And the model you can teach on is how do you bring value to people, because nobody became successful unless they brought value to people.
Right.
This allows a farm boy from Ohio and Dallas, Texas, to have a community of 30,000 Latinos after 18 months.
Wow.
Because all I did was teach them how to build value in their family, in their homes, not in my business.
Exactly.
So that's where you want to get to, is teach them, listen, you're great at what you do, but this is a business model. You can think of whatever it is, but this is a business model that allows you to use your legacy to help other people build their legacies, which have nothing to do with yours, and take care of your family for generations.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I apologize. I lost concentration. I was all over the place.
Okay, that's okay. But see, here's the good thing, Jose. You're great at what you do. And I'm glad we had this little conversation, because two things. One, as good as you are, some of your best prospects can get just as lost, right? Because I'm good at what I do. And the two of us still got lost in a conversation where we were role playing.
Absolutely.
Imagine the prospect who's just as good as you in their world, and they get lost too. Here's the thing that you did that they won't. You said, I'm sorry, Sean, I got lost. They will never say that. Follow me?
That's right.
So that's what makes you brilliant. And I'm glad we had this role play, because I wasn't going to stop. I knew you were getting like, son of a bitch, where's he going? I don't know where I'm supposed to go now. So you stopped and you did the right thing. People get lost all the time, but they won't stop, and they'll keep telling the story, and we keep going, oh, I got him. I'm delivering value. I'm bringing value. And they're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. So I'm just going to say, hey, listen, I got diarrhea. I got to go. And they're going to come up with something crazy.
Yeah.
So thank you for being a great teacher to everybody on the call today.
Thank you so much for all the value you're adding. Thank you. God bless you. And I'll be here 7 days a week with you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Jose, where are you at? Where are you out of?
I'm from New York. I work with Nano directly.
Okay, cool. Okay. Everybody, all of us have our cross to bear.
Yeah. I'm from New York. Yeah.
Okay. I was born in Yonkers, so.
Awesome. Yeah, very nice.
I love Nato. Nato's a cool dude. He's like my little big brother. So.
Nano's amazing. The future that's waiting for that kid, it's just beyond imagination.
Yep. Yeah, no, he's a good egg. He's one of the good guys. Thanks for your time today, brother.
Thank you very much. God bless you, and wish you a beautiful rest of your day.
God bless you too. Appreciate you, man. Dakaya. No, yeah, Dakaya.
Good morning. So I don't really have a question, but more of a comment. So yesterday I was really surprised because I was on like a live trading with my team, and we searched up one of your videos, and it was like from 2011. And I was so surprised. I was like, that's not Sean. And I don't know, like I don't know, I guess I saw you in a different light, because I was like, oh, this is him practicing? And I was like, this isn't, I don't know, that just wasn't the Sean that like I knew. And I was like, I don't know, it gave me a different perspective on you. And so I was just like, wow. I was like, the growth, I was like, it's amazing.
Imagine when I gave that was cutting edge back 9 years ago.
I know. And
Right?
it was the best that you were at the time, but man, how things have changed.
So, and that's why I leave it up there, because people go, oh my God, he's like brilliant. You should have seen me like 3 weeks ago. I sucked 3 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was all.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Anytime.
Love you.
Love you too, Sean.
Okay. Hey, Desmond, go ahead. You got your hand up.
Yeah, man, how you doing? This is my first time here.
Let's throw Desmond some love.
And can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, this is my first time here, and man, just hearing what you're saying and interacting with people and stuff, it's just really bringing a lot of, a lot of things I've been missing, what I know I've been doing wrong. I just want to ask,
Hang on, Desmond. Remember your question. Remember what you're about to say, because I want to talk to your subconscious for just a second.
Okay.
You weren't doing anything wrong. We beat ourselves up for this when you hear me have a conversation. Then we go, oh, I was doing everything wrong. No, you were doing it the best way you knew. Now you know a new way, but don't say you were doing it wrong, because that just brings up the old story from when you were 5 and somebody took away your ice cream because you did something wrong. Just say, okay, I learned a new way. That's all. Just, I learned a new way. Go ahead with your question.
damn, that's experience for you right there. But it wasn't. It was just more of asking, how many days are you on a week? Because I'm just not running across you and stuff. Are you on?
Well, Desmond, we only do these on calls on days that end in a Y. So Monday
Oh,
through Friday, we do it at 6:30 a.m. Central
it's-
Standard Time. And then on the weekends, we do it at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, Dallas time. So are you East Coast?
oh man, I'm in Denton, right down the road.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Cool. Great to have you
Yeah.
here. So if you see the woman there, Rhonda Parker, and we call her the pink robe lady, she's in Maybank. So yeah, we're right around the corner from each other. She's a
Okay.
little farther south. They won't let her
Okay.
up. They won't let her up in the Metroplex. She's a little off. But
Cool. Well, whenever this they lift up everything, and I'll probably be downtown, uptown Dallas and stuff.
okay, yeah, I live in Plano.
Okay. Cool.
So
Oh, nice.
awesome,
Thank you.
cool. Yeah, baby. Appreciate you, Desmond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me see here. Daddy's got a question in the comments. How do I find out what their dream may be in order to paint it bigger for them? As I did. So the question is that Delia, I would ask just very simple, basic conversation. In the next 30 or 40 minutes, in the next 20 minutes, what would be the best thing to happen for you? What bit of information would allow you the chance to say you made a good decision listening? We can't paint their big picture in 20 minutes. Listen, it takes me working with a student as a mentor and a student. It takes a year to break habits. A year, not 21 days. This 21 days is a bunch of marketing BS. Yes, you can become aware of a habit, but that's if you spend 18 hours a day in the study of just absolute silence. Can you change? Can you rewire? But you can't rewire anything in 21 days, but you can rewire something in 21 seconds. Here's an example. Somebody says to you, I want to create $1 million. Great. They say it. But if you held a gun to somebody's head that they love and said, if you don't start the activities right now, I pull the trigger. Done. They'll do anything. We have to create the emotion. The challenge is that if we're not if they don't feel they're in a safe place, they can't even get to the emotional idea of thinking about anything positive. So I saw you typed earlier in the chat, need to slow down. I would encourage you to slow down. If you think you're going fast, you probably are. I would ask more questions. When the conversation is over, who knows more? Do you know more about them, or do they know more about you? And if they know more about you, you're not in the education of teaching people about you. That's not what they're buying. People want to buy their own dreams. Sometimes they haven't even said their dreams. They think they have. They think they want money. Just like Sierra was kind enough for letting me to have a conversation with her. We say these things, but there's nothing to it. It's like trying to put a fishnet over a cloud. Ooh, there's a cloud. I'm going to get it. Oof. Oh, there's nothing there. We've got to come up with some real meat. If we're taking people to lunch, we got to give them something to eat. We take them to dinner. We invite them to dinner. We got to give them something to eat. And what they want to eat is what they want, what's on the menu. So I ask people, what's on your menu? What do you want out of the next 20 minutes? The next 10 minutes we talk about, what would you like? So this, Kyle, if you want to find this video, it'll be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/mentor, the number two mentor. And you can go look at all of the previous hours and hours and hundreds of hours of recordings of events like this. Daryl, you got your hand up. Subscribe me for sure. I love when they subscribe. Yay!
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey, Daryl.
How are y'all doing?
Outstanding.
Daryl Lundy, 23, out of Arlington.
Awesome. Look at all these Texas folk.
Yes, sir, the big D. Yeah, man, no specific questions. Or I do have a specific, well, no specific question, but I want advice for young professionals who are network marketing on the internet. So 16 to 23.
Okay. So,
yeah, I guess I should be specific. A lot of the things you were speaking on seemed like belly to belly interactions, energies, conversations, contact. What advice do you have for young professionals in the digital age? Does this still apply?
It does.
And does it still apply to the mindsets of young people?
It does, because if you were to say up to somebody who's 16 or 61, if you go up, they're going to go down, in, out, hot, cold, and all of a sudden you've now created a predictability. So your vibe will create your tribe, and you're looking for a psychographic, not a demographic.
A psychographic.
Psychographic is the way people think. That's why you and I, listen, if we were to put a picture side by side of us and it was in a lineup and they were looking for a white guy, chances are you wouldn't be picked. They're going, you know, I'm not sure if it's number 3 or number 4. Right? Demographic is who we are. Psychographic is the way we think. That's why you're on this call. You're 23 in Arlington, and we're on the same phone call. We don't fit a demographic. We fit a psychographic. Does that make sense?
Wow. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, so that's one. So second one is your vibe will create your tribe. You're gonna have to have the throwaway cool stuff, be it standing in front of a Lambo or something like that, or to draw their attention. But you're also deliver some content. And the content doesn't have to come from you. It will, but you could use this call, this conversation that you and I are having right now, saying, listen, I just learned on an hour and 49-minute call this morning from a guy 54 years old here in Texas I never heard before, but he dropped some nuggets for some people around the world that'll generate lifetime health. If you like my notes, hit me up. Now you have a reason for them to engage, because anything you do on social media, Daryl, you don't own. You got to get them off the social media and into your contact list. So you got to get their email, because if you're building contacts right now, how long would you like to be able to communicate with those people?
Forever. Until.
So what if Snapchat or Instagram shuts down, or Facebook you lose all your contacts, or somebody does something stupid in a chat or in an interview with you, and because they did something stupid in their interview, they freeze your account. So you need to own your list, brother.
Yes, sir.
So wherever you send them, always be doing giveaways, always be doing information, PDFs, little ebooks. And when you use the ebooks, you send them off to your, I don't care if you use Constant Contact and use the $9 a month one till you get enough people to email to. But start coming up with content that you can use, that you can also give away as a lead magnet. Because nobody, listen, you're the commercial between the TV shows, unless you're delivering content. And your content needs to be unique, it needs to be special, and it needs to be designed specifically for your audience. So the way you do that is deliver multiple pieces of information, multiple tidbits, multiple giveaways, multiple lead magnets. So how does are you saying age of 16 years old?
16 to 23. We got a lot of individuals in our business.
So what do 16-year-olds want that 23s would never want anymore? Whatever that is, so that's how you're going to have to market to them differently. A 23-year-old isn't going to want what a 16-year-old wants. You're talking about huge psychographic differences. But if they're all working towards building their successful future online, get some interviews, find some lead magnets that you have from Kiyosaki, from Gary Vaynerchuk, from all of those, from Karn. I can't think.
What would you call him?
Anyway, so Frank Kern, from people like that, the industry icons, the online marketing icons. So little things like that. Just find those giveaways. Go let people get into your back office, meaning you're behind the scenes. Right now, you're having a conversation with somebody who stood on stage in 30 countries. I've been translated into 40 languages. I've got 3 #1 Amazon best-selling books. I've been interviewed on I don't know how many podcasts, and I've done 432 of these shows, and you're my special guest right now. You realize that, right?
I'm honored.
No, but what I'm saying
totally.
is that you'll take it as you took some notes down. I need us to see things a little bit differently. I need you to see that you just got interviewed on a global podcast this morning with a pretty successful farm boy from Ohio with a 0.9 grade point average.
Understood.
And now people are like, holy crap, how did you get on his podcast? I just showed up. I asked him a question.
Wow. Yeah.
See how we change the way we look at things? So you guys are always looking at education. Education to me is marketing.
That's a nugget right there.
I don't get paid to be educated. I get paid to tell stories. So I just took your story and I could make money with it.
That's amazing. It clicks, man.
Hey, and this is your first time?
Yeah, my first time, and I really appreciate it.
Imagine if you were here.
I got notes on notes, brother.
Imagine if you were here the other 430 times.
Oh, well, I'll be here with the next 400. No worries.
Okay, awesome.
I appreciate you, Sean.
Listen, was it worth the fee?
Given that it was no fee, except maybe an hour of my time, much worth it.
Yeah.
Much worth it.
See, I can't charge you because you're giving me the most precious thing already, your time.
Oh, that's gorgeous, man. I guess he can't. I mean, I guess not. What else is there to get?
Exactly. Everything else is meaningless.
That's amazing. Sean, I'll be here tomorrow, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, do me a favor. You know what I would really love? Bring a friend.
Say less.
Okay, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see here. I think, so kindly your YouTube channel, so the subscription. So here, okay, so Davis, yes, somebody put it down below there, mentor to mentor. So you'll see it there. Kyle Smith put it. Thanks, Kyle. You're a rock star. Let's see here. That's right above. Can you explain, Sean, what you mean by create? Oh, I don't create predictability. The predictability is already there. Delia, the predictability is already there. So if I say network marketing, boom, up goes the wall of what they think network marketing is. If I say, take a look at my company, and they're already in a company, they go, boom, my company's good, their company's bad. That's the human predictability. So if we know those things are going to be predictable, your company versus mine, me versus you, that versus them, how do we get them on the same page? And the same page would be to have a conversation about something they want. And if you can help them get what they want, people will do just about anything to get what they want. Look at drug addicts. They rob, they steal, they lie, they cheat, knowing full well they're doing it, but they'll do anything for their drug. How do we find their drug of choice? How do we find their dream of choice? Because nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody's going to spend 2 hours with me on a phone call to listen to me talk. Everybody shows up to get what they want. I've had 120, 130 people show up here to get what they want. I still delivered my message. So when you have a conversation, are you delivering what you want? This is for everybody, or what they want. Everybody wants to feel that they're moving forward. And if you put up a wall of resistance, you now have to take down that wall. Nobody wants to get on a link. Nobody wants to watch a presentation. I promise you, there's not one of you that's scheduled on, some of you that you've been here long enough, probably like an RC Cardenas, who said, well, these calls used to be an hour, now they're 2 hours, so let me mark off 2 hours. But nobody else, very few people are going to put 2 hours on their call. You see, we're down to 74 folks. Where'd the other 70 people go? There was another call to get on. They got off and they got on the call. No problem. Why didn't I leave after an hour? Because there's still people who are here and who are hungry. If you're hungry, I can't leave. Now there is a time to where I absolutely have to go. But our job, we get paid to listen and deliver on a vision. Theirs, not ours. Philip in Serbia. Good morning, good afternoon, Philip.
Good afternoon, Sean. How are you doing?
Outstanding, brother.
I'm glad to hear that, Sean. Look, I just want to thank you all for having me here. You know, I learned so much new things now, and I want to give a special thanks to my friend Alex for bringing me here. You know, when I wake, before, like 2 weeks ago, when I wake up, I was like, what should I do now? And now when I wake up, I know that I can go to your call and listen to all these new things, and I can learn more. So thank you very much for that.
Let me just stop you there. Yeah, listen. I invited you, all right? I invited you. And knowing you, I'm going to tell you this in Serbian, and then I'm going to translate to everyone else.
All right.
Ja znam koje su tvoje navike i koliko ih ne poštuješ. Slušaj. Znam koje su tvoje navike i koliko ih ne poštuješ. A ovo si ispoštovao. Tako da tebi svaka čast. So for all non-Serbian folks, I just told him that I know how his habits are, and he cannot maintain the habit longer than like 2 days, right? And this is something that he wanted to do. So do not thank me. I just brought you here, and you just saw the link from me. I saw the link from someone else. Your job is to stay here and listen to Sean every day, if you'd like to, of course. That's your job. So do not thank me. Thank yourself.
Recognition doesn't hurt, but here's the other thing. Please don't put please none of you put your authority in me. Question everything I say, challenge everything I say, because if you put your authority in me, that means if I did something wrong, you got to blame me. I ain't responsible for your success, and I ain't responsible for your failure. I'm responsible to you, not for you. So I'm glad you all are here. It does my body good to see you here. But I was here when there was 2 people on the call. I was here when there was 1 person on the call, and I'll be here again after that. Now there may come a time where I go, you know what? My mission has changed, and I need to use some different techniques. But right now I'm here, so I'm glad you all are here, and I'm glad I got you here. So there you go. RBP, where are you at?
Here I be, right here.
Say something with a twang.
Hey, y'all. How you doing this morning, Sean?
Outstanding.
Okay. I thought I heard somebody else say something. So I got a few thoughts. And it's kind of funny. They're probably not even here. They probably jumped on the other call. But when you were talking to, we all have these questions about how does Sean do what he does. Hey, y'all. And when you were talking to Jose, I was watching Jose, and these are why Sean asked the 3 questions: permission to help, permission to make you uncomfortable, and permission to make you comfortable. And y'all probably all heard it, but did it sink in? And the reason I say that is it might just be me. I was really thick-headed when I started this journey, and it took a while for it to sink in for me. But I listened from a different perspective, and the perspective I listened to today was, Sean always gets tickled when I say that, is I'm listening to Sean and not the conversation. I'm listening to what he's delivering, how he's saying it, what he's picking up on. And I'm asking myself the questions of, why did he ask the question he did? Why did he change his voice the way he did? Why did he lean in and get a little loud and aggressive? Why did he calm down? Why did he sit back? And I'm watching that. And the reason I'm watching that is that's kind of, for lack of better words, the secret sauce behind what Sean is able to do. And that's what you're all wanting, but you keep getting hung up on rank and money. And Sean doesn't care about rank and money. Sean cares about the heart of the person, and if he can get their brain to jump out of the rut that it's in so that their heart has a moment to take over and shut the brain off for a little bit. So I was watching Jose, and when you first started, Jose was calm and he was asking for help. How can you help me, Sean? This is what it is. And you had him role play with you, and you put him in the role of a for lack of better words, a prospect. I don't like that word. A person who's not doing what you're doing. And as you asked him questions, he got really aggravated. He got really uncomfortable. And if y'all listen, go back and listen to it, you'll hear his brain go, this dude's fixing to kill us. Shut down, stop talking, get angry, make him mad, insult him, hack him off so he'll stop. And Sean, if you go back and watch it, Sean will sit intently listening to what's going on inside the brain of Jose. And he's waiting to hear Jose's heart. And Sean's going to poke him and prod him ever so slightly out of a place of love to get his brain to jump out of the rut of, is there a pattern or will it kill me? And Sean's going to try to make him jump out of it. And you heard him jump out of it twice. You heard his voice change. He went from this, hey, Sean, I think you're amazing, to, I don't understand. Are you role playing with me? And he got angry because he was like, you're getting too close to my home. You're getting too close. And Sean had to, remind him, yeah, it's okay. But if you go back and listen, there was 2 times where Jose stepped back and he was like, okay, I'm not following you. And it's little glimpses of the heart that the brain shut down just long enough for Jose's heart to come through and go, I really want to get this. I really need a change, but you're pushing me too hard. And you'll see Sean, and some of it, Sean will lean up on his elbows like he's doing right now. And then some of it, Sean will lean back a little bit. And it is, Rob, he's doing this dance. And the gentleman in Arlington, if he's still on here, this is what you need to be aware of, because you can do this on social media. You can do this on Zoom, because Sean just did it right in front of our face about 3 times. And he danced back and forth with Jose to the point where he got his permission to help, permission to make him uncomfortable. And boy, this dude was under the collar, sweating under the collar like crazy. He did not think he was going to get called out on an international call by Sean Murphy, somebody Nano told him to listen to. And it was really about to piss him off, honestly. And then Sean brought him out of the uncomfortable by sitting beside him, so to speak, instead of in front of him anymore. This is so important to watch, because you guys get on this call every morning to try to grab some nuggets from Sean, and you can write down all the nuggets you want until you begin to look at Sean and listen to Sean and how he interacts from his heart, not tied to your outcome, not tied to your response, not tied to anything other than, did their heart beat a little bit more today? Were they sitting in their heart just a few seconds longer than they were yesterday? When you begin to see that, that's what's bringing me so many levels of success. And I don't mean money. It has nothing to do with money. But I was writing that down, and some of the things that came from that, not only that learning, but he said it himself, ask more questions. When you're talking to somebody, ask more questions. And when the conversation is over, do they know more about you or you know more about them? Because Sean gathered a plethora of information about Jose. He got generational information. He got current information. I hope this is making sense to y'all, because this is how I'm listening. And the only reason I can listen like this is because of all the work that I've done with Sean behind the scenes and one-on-one that y'all haven't had a chance to do. So then the question is, as you sit down with people or you're sitting on social media, what are you pursuing? If you're pursuing numbers on your Instagram account or you're pursuing numbers in your business, you're pursuing the wrong thing. If you're pursuing riches or legacy or wealth or anything like that, you're pursuing the wrong thing. So then the other question I wrote down is, or the statement I wrote down is, if you're pursuing money and wealth and riches and things like that, definition of wealth has got to be more tied to monetary, then all that's really going to reveal is more of who you are. And if that's all you're stuck on, when you get the money, it's not going to be pretty when we see who you really are. If you haven't done the work inside your heart and you're not speaking from the heart, it's going to be nasty when you get the money. It'll probably still come to you. Just going to be nasty when you get there. So my next question then was, so who are you? This is what I'm asking myself. Who are you? And what is the root or my foundation? And why would I start anywhere else? Why would I start with them? And what do you want? How do you want your life to go? What do you want to leave? Do you want to take care of your kids? Those are all questions you should have started with yourself. That's why Sean draws us in, because everything about Sean is so sincere, because he's worked so hard on himself. Dakaya said it best. Go back and listen to him in 2011. You'd be like, who the John is that? That's a messed up network marketer. And yes, I got to take this robe off because I'm getting myself all worked up over here. And that's the whole thing. Sean has done so much work inside. Yes, he's given y'all a kind of a red rope entrance into how to get better results. But don't miss the foundation. The foundation is, if there's some yuck inside that heart of yours, out of the mouth, the heart will speak. And then you cross-reference that with life and death are in the power of the tongue. And speaking doesn't always have to be oral. It's how you're speaking in your head. And that's what's so sincere about Sean. People are all looking for a way to connect. I wrote this down. The human heart is always on the same page for everyone. It could be our hearts want hugely different things, but it's still in the heart. And if you're speaking from the brain to someone's heart, or from your heart to someone's brain, there's a discombobulation that's going to happen. So what Sean successfully does is, yeah, is he a great businessman? Absolutely. One of the best. But why is he? And it's not because of all his one-liners. And for Pete's sake, please don't use all his words out of your own mouth. Don't do that. You'll just sound like a recorded Sean. And then everybody will go, that dude doesn't even look right. The words coming out of his mouth didn't line up. Take his essence. Take his love for people. Take his genuine concern for anyone that crosses his path, because he knows God brought them across his path for a reason. Take that and apply that in your own life. And that will change the trajectory that you're on to a total different trajectory. I hope y'all are picking this up, and I hope I'm saying it better than I've said it before, and I hope I'm saying it in a way you can get it. When you do exactly what Tom Chenault has said, when you fire your head and you hire your heart, and you're not tied to their response, or their outcome, whether it's success or failure, then you've set the platform for your life to be completely changed and for success in every definition possible to run to you. Does that make sense? Okay, I see Joanne saying, I see Mugambi said yes. Okay, well, all right, good, good. Okay, so I know it might be a little hard to understand because it's all East Texas style, but I hope it comes across that your hearts are important. And the reason Sean shows up, because I get the behind the scenes, I get the phone calls after the phone calls, I get to have those. I am very blessed and lucky to have those. And I hear his heart want so much for each one of y'all. And he loves every one of y'all. And on that note, I am grateful that he gives me the opportunity to speak on his calls. And I am grateful. I would have never gotten to meet people in Africa and Panama and Europe and everywhere. But it's because of Sean and his heart loving me that he gives me the chance to love on y'all. So lots of love from East Texas. I love y'all. Thank you, Sean.
Love you, Rhonda. Thank you. And that's what we get to do. There's another day in the books. There's another day, right? A little over 2-hour conversation. Yeah, it's a lot to listen to. It's a lot to go through. But I got to tell you one thing, you're here. And you're here because you know you deserve more. You're here because you know that you have more. You're here because you know that there's more for you to receive. That's the big thing. Life has got a whole bunch of stuff for you to receive. Make space for it. Make space for it. There you go. So from all of us in Plano and East Texas and Denton and Arlington and Nigeria and Kenya and all over the world, in Atlanta, I'm just looking down there at Brittany. I was going to say, is Brittany here? But I know she's here. Why y'all say I'm not here? I'm always here. She's here. I love her. And Monique and Delia and Ralph and Dana and RC and Alex and Philip and all Joanna and all y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all send some love to each other.
Have an amazing day, amazing people.
Love you guys.
Love you, my Misfit family. Gonna have a blessed,
Bye,
amazing
you
day.
guys. I love you.
Y'all be
Love you
safe out
too,
there, man.
guys
Abundance and
from
joy.
Kenya, Geoffrey.
Geoffrey!
Amazing day.
I love you all.
Be ready for your story tomorrow, Geoffrey. I'm going to interview you.
Love you.
Oh yes, no problem, Sion.
Okay, brother.
Love y'all. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Y'all are the best. Bye for now.